Hey, what's up guys? John here. Over 75,000 jobs have been axed in the last 72 hours.
The layoffs are already piling up this year.
Intel, one of the biggest employers in the East Valley, announced that they're laying off 15% of their workforce.
Is cutting 4,000 jobs, about 5% of its global workforce.
Every industry is being impacted, whether you're in freight and logistics, you're a teacher, maybe you work at a hospital, you're in tech. It doesn't matter. Even construction, every industry right now has been devastated.
Americans are worried about their job security. 70% of employees are bracing for layoffs in some way.
But what happens next is the real shocker. I mean, when you see the size of these layoffs, Volkswagen, for example, just announced 2 days ago, yeah, we're going to cut 15,000 jobs.
Volkswagen could close factories in Germany for the first time in its history.
You have Cisco saying, you know what? Yeah, we laid off 4,000 employees. Now we're going to lay off 5,600 employees. You have Boeing laying off tens of thousands of employees.
Boeing and thousands of striking workers.
Boeing is now threatening sweeping cuts and layoffs as they now enter day 5 of a machinist strike.
This is all the last 24 to 48 hours. Just 3 companies laying off 50,000 employees. Just 3. But when they talk about a soft landing, saying everything is going to be good, everything's going to be great.
Is this a soft landing?
I think it's a soft landing. And if I'm the Fed, I'm pleased.
Why are the smartest minds in finance laying off thousands of people? Why are they getting ready for something far worse than a recession? JP Morgan, Chase, it's the largest bank in America. Jamie Dimon, the CEO, said something much worse is coming than a recession. All corporations are getting ready for exactly that, a major crisis inside of the economy. In this video, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you exactly what these companies are doing and exactly what they say comes next. Please hit the like button. YouTube will share the content, educate more people about what's happening. I made many bold predictions in the past. I think this one, without doubt, is going to come true like many of the ones that I've already made. Look at this. In July, I report on the fall of Denver and the fall of Ohio, 2 months before the media. In 2023, I predicted federal rent control would come and food price controls would come to combat inflation. The White House is now working to make both of these laws.
Passed the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
My incredible team provides tomorrow's news today. Only 30% of all viewers are subscribed. If you subscribe, the algorithm will reward the channel and we can expand and grow and hire more researchers. Thank you for simply clicking the red button to subscribe to the channel. Now on to the video. It's just shocking. Tech layoffs, 2024. Lay off 27,000. That was in August. 27,000 people, right? Here, IBM. This came out yesterday. IBM quietly axing thousands of jobs. IBM told the Register that IBM is experiencing a massive layoff in the past few days. Now, what do you consider as massive when they have 288,000 employees? Is it maybe it's 1%, 2,800, 2%, 5,700, 3%, 8,600? I would consider massive 10%. Like that's a massive cut, right? Maybe it's less, but if that is the number, 28,000 people, even if it's 10, if it's 5,000, that is so many people that will be impacted. That's one company. Then you have here, Bay Area tech layoffs, online learning giant to cut 280 employees, rehire in lower cost regions. That's exactly what we're walking into, the great outsourcing. Here, Wall Street Journal, this came out today. Tech jobs have dried up and aren't coming back soon. Finding a job in tech by applying online was fruitless. So Glenn resorted to another tactic. It involved paper and duct tape. That's how bad the job market is right now. You have here 2,600 CarePoint employees setting for December 12th possible layoffs. Came out 2 days ago. Here, New Jersey hospital workers could lose jobs, one of the biggest layoff plans this year. Came out yesterday. Right? All these companies issuing these, because this hospital in Texas, they're talking about 1 in 10 Texas hospitals at risk of closing. It's literally every single industry. But one of the major industries that I think is going to get completely flipped on its head because of these higher interest rates and a struggling consumer is going to be automotive. And a lot of these new legislations that are set to bring forward major changes with green energy, it's the electric vehicles, this big push. And these companies are getting ready for it. You have UAW, on strike. Stellantis, a year after unprecedented work stoppages. And look at this. They made predictions in the past. Back then, it seemed far-fetched. It seemed radical and crazy. But we're moving in this direction. It says some reports say that car ownership will drop 80%. 20% of Americans will own cars in 6 years, right? That was the prediction. In 2017, Business Insider, only 20% of Americans will own a car in 15 years, right? Then Forbes, 2017, private car ownership will drop 80%, right in the same timeline. You have all these major publications. NBC, why 95% of your driving won't be in your car. Right here, by 2030, EVs represent 60% of vehicles sold. Everything is going to move into this, new normal. And so when you start to look at these industries that are being impacted, it's all in line with what's coming for the U.S. economy, a major period of disruption. Boeing layoffs begin with more ahead to cut costs during machinist strike 2 or 3 days ago, right? Here in Seattle public schools consider closing at least 17 schools to help a $100 million deficit 6 days ago. So when you look at what's going on with these cities all across America, you look at how they're funded. Schools, street services, police departments, fire departments, they're funded predominantly by tax revenue. Property taxes on both residential and commercial property and sales taxes. When you have commercial real estate values plummeting and a lot of these buildings being sold for 50 cents on the dollar, the taxable revenue is going to fall with it. And as that happens, there grows the deficit. And so when you start to see these big cities walking into this problem that Seattle's walking into, you can imagine what's going to happen to the jobs that are connected to that revenue. It's going to be crazy. Here, like teacher strikes lead to higher pay, right? Lower classroom sizes. So you think about this. Is UAW on strike for, higher pay? Are the teachers unions, are they on strike for higher pay? Possibly. That's probably the conversation being had. But if you were to look at it from the other side of the table, it would make more sense for these teachers and these people to go on strike so that they could possibly lose their job and maybe not get the bonus or, the raise that they were promised or they were hoping to get. And they can be released without severance and without these pay packages. That's what I think is happening. I think it's across all industries right now. Frontier flight attendants vote to authorize strike 15 hours ago, right? How, this right strike, they have a whole new movement. It's the enabled flight attendant contract, right? So they can strike much more easily. Here's where I think all this is going. So McKinsey had this article. It says 30% of the world's workforce will lose their jobs to AI within 7 years. According to McKinsey, an expected 400 to 800 million people lose their job to AI. Now, this is their prediction. If that does happen, imagine what that would mean for property values. Imagine what that would mean for small businesses and their ability to, hire and retain talent at a wage in which people need to survive in, this inflationary world, right? We would see disruption to the likes in which we've never before seen. In 1929 to 1933, during the Great Depression, unemployment rate was just south of 30%. When you're talking about this level of disruption, when you're looking at everything across all these industries right now, and then you see Leon Black, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, you see the Walton family, the Walmart family, and you're seeing all of these major players unloading stock in 2021, 2022, and even today. Why? It's because we're walking into the great disruption and people want to cash out. These smart people want to cash out before the masses get hip to what's about to happen to the U.S. economy. Now, when you hear about these 50 basis points, this big, cut, a lot of people are thinking maybe we're going to have a soft landing. It doesn't look like it. I mean, right here, 3 weeks ago, universal basic income, what UBI is, how it works, how it would affect the economy, and what supporters and critics would say. Now, if you look at what's happening in Newsweek right here, universal basic income is close to becoming a reality in one state, Oregon. They're talking about voting a UBI in. Imagine what will likely happen if this starts to become the normal, which I personally believe it's a matter of time. If a UBI does come forward, how would it get funded? It would be funded through taxable income, revenue, business revenue. And so if we start to see a world where taxes go up on small businesses and taxes go up in general to offset this cost, you could just imagine the change that will be unfolding in America. It would be unreal. And I think that's what a lot of these business owners and a lot of these corporations are getting ready for. Massive change. It's very hard to predict exactly how this situation will unravel. But if you have this level of disruption, 30%, people are going to need financial assistance, and someone's going to have to pay for it. I mean, it looks like we're ramping up quickly over the next year, and I would not be surprised to see us in 2025 walking into a great financial crisis far worse than 2008, 2009, 2010. And it looks like these corporations are, they're getting ready for this major, major, major storm. I mean, what are the odds, though, that every single industry is doing the same exact thing? Every single industry. If it was just tech, I would say, you know what, maybe they're overpaying people $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year salaries when they could outsource it and they could, find ways in which they can automate things just like they did with X, right? They fired a lot of the staff and a lot of the employees and the company's still running. Maybe that would be a one-off scenario. But when it's every single industry, from freight to teachers to hospitals to, even airlines, it's cars, automotive, every industry is doing the same exact thing. Strikes, massive layoffs, and cost cutting, job outsourcing, AI. I mean, this is what they're all doing. Cisco shifts their focus to AI growth. We're walking into a changing world. And I think if you have plans of creating tremendous wealth for yourself, getting out of high interest rate consumer credit card debt should be paramount if you have it, because there's nothing, many people want to invest to get a 5, 10, 15, 20% return, and that's great. But if you have a credit card balance at, and the interest rate's 29%, that's a guaranteed 29% interest rate that you're paying to somebody else. So if you can get out of high interest rate credit card debt, now's the time to do so. If you have a high interest credit card balance and you don't know what to do, if you have good credit, you can do a balance transfer. There's many companies still offering 12 to 24 months, 0% interest. And you could transfer that balance and just get on a strict pay down schedule, try to pay it off without paying any interest. There's ways in which to do it. But now's the time to prepare, because it looks like a major storm is about to rip through the economy. Let's have a conversation about this below. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we would love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative or derogatory items in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com, click the link in the description just below this video, schedule a free call for tomorrow. Catch you next video.